What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Shuffle Squad channel. My name is Josh and I am here today to bring you a brand new deck profile. Now today we are going to be covering Blissey V Miltank. Now Blissey V Miltank was a deck that came out back in the Astral Radiance format, but has recently found success thanks to its ability to be both a tank and heal deck alongside having unlimited damage potential thanks to its Blissful Blast attack, which does 10 plus. Then this attack does 30 more damage for each energy attached to this Pokemon. If you did any damage with this attack, you may attach up to 3 energy cards from your discard pile to this Pokemon. We then play Miltank with the Miracle Body ability. Prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's Pokemon V. Basically making it so things like Kyurem are unable to touch it, things like Palkia are unable to touch it. So between Blissey with 250 HP or 300 thanks to Cape of Toughness, you can cover the range of attacks from non-V Pokemon, making you almost impossible to one-shot. Whereas Miltank can then tank hits from things that are unable to go through the Miracle Body ability. Then, for the rest of the game, what you do is you use things like Hyper Potion, like Switch Cart, and like Team Yell Towel to heal all of the damage that is done to your Miltanks, to your Blisseys, completely resetting that HP number and making it almost impossible for your opponent to close out games. Now we are playing the Dusparce. Dusparce's Mysterious Nest ability makes it so that normal type Pokemon in play have no weakness. While fighting type Pokemon have fallen off a bit, Reggie's is still in a very strong place in the meta, and Regirock with a Choice Belt is able to get through Blissey with Cape of Toughness. So we are playing the Dusparce just in case we run into any of those. We are playing Radiant Greninja. Now, there is some anti-synergy with Radiant Greninja and Path to the Peak. Basically, you want to use Radiant Greninja early to set up your board by discarding those energies, and then when you use Blissey's Blissful Blast attack, you can reattach them to Blissey, adding to that damage number, adding to your ability to heal. The rest of the list is pretty standard. We are playing 4 Path to the Peak. This gets through things like Empoleon that can go through your Miltank. It helps against decks like Mew that are looking to use Genesect to set up very strong boards and find power tablets that can help them get through Blissey. We are playing 4 Avery. Now, Avery will allow you to draw 3 cards, and then your opponent discards their bench down to 3. This card is incredible into decks like Mew, into decks like Lost Box that really want to set up their benches to be very full. You can get them down to 3 cards on their bench and then take a KO, leaving them with only 50% of the Pokemon that they had in play. Now, we're also playing 2 Cheren's Care. This is basically just so that if your Blissey has a low energy number and gets hit with a big hit, something that you can't necessarily heal with Hyper Potion, with Switch Cart, with Team Yell Towel, you can just Cheren's Care, pick up your Blissey, put it back down, attach an energy to your active Blissey, and then keep going with the tanking and healing. Playing 2 Marnie, 3 Professor's Research, and 1 Zinnia's Resolve. Now these are just your draw supporters. It's nothing too crazy. A lot of lists you'll see play more Zinnia's Resolve. It's not my favorite card. A lot of decks can manage their bench in this format, so you're frequently only going to be able to draw 2 or 3 cards until late game. So I would rather have the more raw draw power of Research and Marnie. Now, our energy counts, we're playing 4 Double Turbo Energy, 4 Powerful Colorless Energy, 4 Capture Energy, and 3 Lucky Energy. Powerful Colorless Energy makes it so the colorless Pokemon that this is attached to do 20 more damage with their attacks, allowing your Blissey to do even more damage, allowing your Miltanks to do even more damage. Lucky Energy makes it so that if you get hit by damage from your opponent's attacks, you get to draw more cards. Because there's no inherent engine in this deck, especially if Path to the Peak is down and you can't use Radiant Greninja, having the ability to draw extra cards off of your opponent's attacks is massive. Now we are going to hop into some games and see if we can take some victories down with Blissey Miltank. All right, jumping right back into things, we did win the coin flip, meaning that we will get to go first. A huge advantage in this format. We do take a mulligan, which is a little bit of a shame. This is a pretty good hand actually, but we will mulligan back in. Our opponent will see what we're playing. This is also quite a good hand, so we'll put up the Blissey, the nice full art Blissey that we have, and we'll see what our opponent is rocking with here. Okay, it looks like we are against Lost Box. Now, Lost Box is a bit of an interesting matchup. It is quite difficult for them to be able to take out multiple Blissey. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and grab some extra Blissey. We're not going to put any of them down just yet. We don't want them to be able to spread damage with like the Zigzagoons. So we're just going to go ahead and attach the powerful Colorless energy here and then pass the turn. Now, what we don't want to do is get any single prize cards into the discard. If they are playing that Echoing Horn, it's going to cause a lot of problems for us. Whereas right now, with a giant cape, there is nothing in any of the Lost Box decks that are capable of one-shotting Blissey V. So if we can just get a Blissey stacked enough that it can one-shot these basic Pokemon, then all we're going to have to do is use Cheren's Care, use Hyper Potions to be able to heal off that damage that they are dealing to us. Let's see, so far they've gotten a Marnie, a Fog Crystal, and a Psychic Energy. They attach the Psychic Energy to their Sableye, and they do miss the attack. So we are going to bench this Blissey. Right now, we are doing 60 damage, which is not quite enough. We can attach the powerful Colorless energy here, which will put us at 70 damage, plus 20, plus 20, that's 110. I could Boss's Orders this Cramorant, get something off of the board that would allow them to do damage to us, but I think it's better to just Marnie, take their 6-card hand down to a 4-card hand, and allow us to see a few more cards. See, this is nice. Now we can go ahead and just Quick Ball our double turbo energy. I'm gonna grab the Radiant Greninja. Right now our hand is dead. We don't need to play this right now. We can just go ahead and take this KO, and then next turn, if our hand is still dead, we can bench the Radiant Greninja if we have to draw cards. We do take a Cape of Toughness, which is very, very good for us here. They promote the Comfey, makes sense. They're gonna go ahead and use Colorless. Let's see what they end up throwing in the Lost Zone. So they only have 3 in the Lost Zone right now. It'll be 5 after the Colorless. They did Lost Zone a Fire Energy. So if their other Fire Energy is prized, they're going to have a very difficult time taking a KO on any of our Blisseys. So let's see. They do Flower Selecting. They get rid of a Cross Switcher. That implies that this is probably similar to Tord's winning list. Tord played Cross Switcher, obviously, to win the Peoria Regional Championship. Which actually this matchup will probably be better for us. They don't have access to Zigzagoon. The Path to the Peak comes into play, so the Radiant Greninja is not going to do much to help us here, but that is okay. Spit Innocently. That's fine. We do have the Switch Cart in hand already, so we will go ahead and play Switch Cart. I am going to attach a Cape of Toughness to both of them. And I'm not going to attach the Lucky Energy here. We have enough energy on our Blissey to one-shot anything in their deck at the moment. So it's probably a safer bet to keep the Lucky Energy in hand just in case our opponent does boss, does use an Escape Rope again. Then we can continue to attack with Blissey on the bench. So we will just Blissful Blast, take that second KO. Team Yell Towel, that is a nice get there. If they do happen to bring our other Blissey V active, we can go ahead and heal 50 damage off of that. Okay, they are up to 8 cards in the Lost Zone, meaning that they are probably going to have Sableye online this turn. Eventually, we're going to need to draw out of this hand because Sableye will not activate Lucky Energy. Them putting damage counters will not activate Lucky Energy, so we are stuck top decking for the time being. We do have access to quite a few supporter cards in our deck. They are going to Primate Wisdom. They still have 1 more Flower Selecting. Let's see, what have they put in the Lost Zone? So they do have 10. They have put quite a few Switch cards in the Lost Zone. Yeah, they're down to 1 single Escape Rope if they play Tord's list. They have 2 Scoop Up Nets left. Quite a few Switch cards. Sableye gets promoted. Fog Crystal gets played. grabs a Psychic Energy. What I would imagine is they're probably going to split their energy or their damage between the two of them, which we don't mind too much. If they put 60 on both, then we can just Team Yell Towel the active. Yeah, they just put 50 here, so we can just Team Yell Towel. We don't care too much if they go ahead and knock this guy out. So we are just going to use the Team Yell Towel here. I think we're going to hold the Cheren's Care as well. As of right now, Lost Mine won't get them the KO on Blissey. We know they're not playing Zigzagoon because they are playing Towards List. So we're just going to go ahead and Blissful Blast, taking the knockout here. Now next turn, if they do try and put 50 damage on our active Blissey, it might be important for us to use the Cheren's Care just to prevent them from setting up a knockout with their Radiant Charizard, although it is on them to remove the path to the peak that's in play. It does not look like they've gone through any of their lost vacuum yet though, so I would be willing to bet that they're going to be just fine in making that happen. They do go ahead and get rid of the Cape of Toughness on our bench Blissey. That implies that they're going to take the knockout this turn, and if they do take the knockout this turn, then they cannot set up a KO on our active Blissey V, which is exactly what we want. They are going to take 2 prizes, which doesn't mean too much. They're setting up a second Sableye on the bench. Let's see if they go for the KO here or if they go for the setup for the Radiant Charizard. I believe Towards List only plays 2 Lost Vacuums, so they will have to choose between removing the path to the peak and removing my Cape of Toughness. It looks like they are just going to go ahead and choose to KO the bench Blissey. We're going to go ahead and bench another Blissey V, attach an energy to it. If we draw another energy at any point, we will be able to take a KO on a Sableye, on a Comfey with Boss, whatever we need to do really. So we go down to 2 prizes. They are going to have to remove this path if they want to attack with Charizard. And if they don't want to attack with Charizard, that is perfectly fine with us, because they are still going to have to get through 2 Blisseys in order to win the game here. One option that they have is they could Boss's Orders this Blissey, get rid of the path to the peak, and then take the KO with Radiant Charizard. Let's see what they're going for though. They do only have 1 access to Comfey at the moment. Yeah, the other 2 are Lost Zoned and one of them is not prized, discarded. They do go ahead and use the Primate Wisdom ability. Fog Crystal comes out. I'm not quite sure what they would be looking for here. Sableye will probably have to Lost Mine this turn, trying to set up a KO on Radiant Charizard and then hoping that this Blissey will be unable to knock out their Charizard. They do Scoop Up Net the Comfey, promoting the Oranguru. They use Switch Cart. Interesting, okay. They're going to Flower Selecting again. I'm not quite sure what they're looking for here. It doesn't seem like there's any single card that can help them win the game. It shouldn't be possible for them to finish this game out. So as long as we can set up our benched Blissey here. They do go for Cross Switcher, promoting this Blissey. That's fine. If they swing into this Blissey with Charizard, it'll go down, but then we can knock out the Charizard. And they will still have to bump the path to the peak. Air Balloon comes down. Lost Mine. Okay. Now they won't be able to take either KO here, so I wonder if it's worth it. They put 80 on the active. Okay, I think we probably do end up just using Cheren's Care here. Can pick up this. It probably makes more sense to Cheren's Care and pick up the benched Blissey. We're going to go ahead and put it back down. we're going to go ahead and attach a powerful colorless energy to the active. That should be enough to take the KO on this Sableye, bring us down to 1 prize. And unless they hand disrupt us here, what we can do next turn, they will probably take the KO on this with Radiant Charizard, which is just fine. They are going to have to bump their own path to the peak here. And once they do bump their own path to the peak, we can play our path to the peak. This is no longer a threat, and they will be unable to KO our Blissey. They do play 2 Lost Vacuum. Okay, they have 3 total. So I was misremembering towards list. That's okay. Well, yeah, that's okay. They have to take the KO on this one. They are going to Marnie. Okay, so this could be somewhat problematic here. We'll see what we draw off the Marnie, Double Turbo, and Boss. We do draw into Hyper Potion. They have 0 cards in their deck. They have 0 cards in their deck. That's one way to win. Blissful Blast. Good game to my opponent. Yeah, it just looks like they struggled to get their Radiant Charizard play off until later into the game, but we'll go ahead and hop into one more game and see if we can take down another win. Hopping back in, it looks like we do win the coin flip one more time. Pardon me. Okay, so looking at our hand, it is certainly not the best hand in the entire world. It is a water-based deck, which means it could be Kyurem or Palkia. We do have the ability to get a Blissey or a Miltank here with the Quick Ball. It is Kyurem. Okay, good to know. So we are going to start off by going concealed cards. See if I can draw some extra stuff. We're going to go ahead and put the path to the peak in play. We will Quick Ball away in Avery. Against Kyurem, typically the strategy is just going to be that we want to have multiple Miltank down. We do have a Miltank prize, which could make things somewhat uncomfortable for us, especially because we have multiple path in our hand that we might have to research away. Let's see what our opponent goes for. They could use the Rapid Freeze attack to attach an absolutely ridiculous amount of water energy from their hand to their Pokemon. They play Battle VIP Pass. I wouldn't be surprised to see an Empoleon come down here. Yep, there is one Empoleon. Radiant Greninja as well. Let's see if they have the bump to path to the peak. Irida. Irida is not an immediate bump unless they're playing Lost Vacuum, which Zachary Kreckler's list was, and he used that to get top 4 at Peoria. So I wouldn't be too surprised to see it here. I would be a little surprised to see them use it here, because they will not immediately be able to attack with their Empoleon. They do go ahead and grab that Lost Vacuum. That's fine with us. It feels a lot better to research 1 path away than it does to research 2. They lost on an Irida. That's just fine. I assume they're going to use Radiant Greninja. Yep, concealed cards. Draw a couple of cards. They can't Melanie. I could also just Avery this turn, forcing them to discard one of these 4. None of them are things that they particularly want to discard. So I think that might end up being the correct play. It does look like they missed an attachment for turn as well. So we are going to Avery. We draw the rest of our path to the peak and no energy. So that's not quite good. Let's see what they choose to discard. My guess would be a Rangaroo. It's the most replaceable card on their bench. But maybe if they prize one of them, they don't necessarily want to do that. They do get rid of the Oranguru. We'll put Path to the Peak in play and just pass. Hopefully we can find a way to attach some more energy to our Miltank, or any energy at all. They did Lost Zone their Irida last turn, which implies to me that they should have some sort of supporter out for this turn. It feels incredibly risky to hinge your entire strategy on my inability to play Path to the Peak, when it's fairly common knowledge that this deck plays 4 of them. They do Melanie to their Empoleon. They do find another Oranguru. Go ahead and Capacious Bucket, get a couple water energy from their deck. They can still attach one for turn. They could attach one to their active Kyurem and then Rapid Freeze to attach the second one here. Then if they draw the Air Balloon, they'll be able to retreat using the single energy card. They Rotom Phone. The Oranguru is going to be able to grab them whatever card they put on top. It is Training Court. They don't have any energy in their discard, but they do have the ability to use Radiant Greninja now. This is making me feel a lot better about discarding Path to the Peaks. A lot of these Training Court builds do play 2 or 3 of them, but we'll see. If he does have the Switch, could go ahead and use Palkia's V-Star power to KO my Miltank, which would not be... He does have the Switch. It looks like maybe he is going for it. We may have to attack with Blissey a little bit more in this match than we would typically want to. Gets the second Empoleon, okay. I wonder what that last card in their hand is. Ah, Crobat. Okay, fair enough. So if they do go ahead and use the Palkia V-Star power, they will be able to take this KO here. It doesn't look like they drew a water energy, or maybe they're just not going to use Palkia's V-Star power this turn. But if they did draw a water energy, they probably would have wanted to quick ball that so that they can use the V-Star power for more value. Let's see what they decide to do. It is quite risky to use Palkia's V-Star power this early in the game. So I am curious if they think that that is the right choice. They don't. Okay, so we are going to play our Path to the Peak. I am going to bench a Blissey. Typically in this matchup, you don't want to use it until a little bit later on, but it feels like it may be necessary here. We do draw the Cape of Toughness. This is actually quite a good hand. This makes it so this Empoleon, even if they bump our Path to the Peak, will not be able to kill our Miltank. And then I have Hyper Potion in hand. I can attach the double turbo energy and then Hyper Potion a good majority of the damage that they do off. I would not be too surprised if they have the ability to bump our Path to the Peak here. They should have 2 outs to it left in deck if they are playing the 3 Training Court. But if not, we can attach the powerful Colorless energy to do 20 more damage. It won't take the KO on the Empoleon. We don't necessarily need it to. Could also Boss's Orders their Kyurem. Start doing damage into that. Force them to find extra pieces as well once they bump the path. Okay, they do move the energy. Kind of interesting of them to use the Swirling Slice there, actually. They move it to Palkia. Okay. I'm curious. We're going to go ahead and attach the Capture Energy here, actually. Get our second Miltank down. And I can just Boss's Orders their Kyurem here. But it does feel somewhat unnecessary. So we're actually just going to route Taking the KO on this Empoleon basically will set us up so that our Miltanks can win us this match almost no matter what happens. If they find the bump to the path, like I said, they can do 130 damage to us, but we can immediately attach the powerful Colorless and then Hyper Potion off my double turbo. Boss's orders. Okay, that is just fine. They take the KO on the Radiant Greninja, but obviously they are not doing anything to break through the walls that we have on the board right now. We are going to be able to take 2 prizes off of this Empoleon. Even if they boss our Blissey, we also don't care too much about that. I am going to go ahead and attach the powerful Colorless to our benched Miltank at the moment, and then just go ahead and route. That way, if they boss up this Miltank, they try to stall, we do have the ability to just attach our second powerful Colorless and continue swinging. I would not be too surprised to see them use a boss's orders here, bring up our Blissey V. They do bump the path to the peak. Now this makes things a little awkward, but what will probably happen here is that they will just raw retreat their Palkia V-Star into their Empoleon before using the Star Portal ability to attack into our Miltank. Something they could do is boss our other Miltank because it doesn't have a giant cape on it, and just take that first KO, get rid of the Miltank as soon as they're able to. We don't have any draw supporters, but there's not really anything that we're looking to draw at this exact moment. We are out of path to the peak. They are just going to Star Portal. They do have enough water energy in their discard that seems like a totally fine play. If they do boss our Blissey and decide to attack with Palkia, we can Switch Cart into this Miltank, attach the powerful Colorless, and just boss their Empoleon. It's actually not that great of a play without Cape of Toughness. They do use boss orders. They're going to attack into the Blissey. That is totally fine. They hit for 200 damage. We don't really care if this Blissey goes down, so we probably won't spend too much time trying to heal it. We will just switch into our other Blissey. We're going to go ahead and attach a Lucky Energy to this Miltank, and then we will boss's orders the Empoleon. Realistically, this Empoleon is their only threat. So if we can just break through this, we should be able to win the game. Most of these Kyurem lists don't play recovery, making it much easier for us to wall break these Empoleons. Two water in the discard. They don't have any way to get those waters back as far as I'm aware. I spoke too soon. There's the energy retrieval. They are going to start building up their Kyurem VMAX. But once this Empoleon goes down, that Kyurem VMAX is not going to be doing almost anything for them. They could retreat their Empoleon, try to get ahead a little bit on the prizes here by KOing my Blissey. Glaciated World. They can also attack with their Radiant Greninja. It doesn't look like that's a route that they're going for, though, opting instead to set up their Kyurem VMAX. Radiant Greninja can do 90 to 2 of our Miltanks, which is nothing to scoff at for sure. But we will go ahead and see what they try to do here. They could boss's orders. I'm not sure exactly how many standard lists play. Nope, they do just go ahead and Swirling Slice. That makes our lives a lot easier. We're just going to go ahead, attach the powerful Colorless Energy to our Miltank, and then we will Hyper Potion, discarding the double turbo, which then also has an additional effect of allowing us to knock out this Empoleon V this turn. They do end up putting some energy on the Radiant Greninja. That is perfectly fine. We're just going to go ahead and Hyper Potion. discarding the double turbo energy, and then we will route for the KO. See if we can get our other Miltank here. Cape of Toughness is quite good. We get 2 Cape of Toughness. That's 1 more than we needed, but we will remain thankful for taking 1 out of the prizes. That should help give us a little bit more durability for the rest of this game. They are promoting the Radiant Greninja. They don't have access to Lost Vacuum, so even doing 90 to this, we will still have 60 HP to work with. Rotom Phone. Okay, Oranguru gets them the switch. They promote Kyurem. I wonder if they have the boss orders. They're going to go ahead and take the KO on the Blissey. They bench a Kyurem V. They are down 2 switch. I could just boss this Kyurem V and try and end the game. It doesn't seem like a bad play here at all. Max Frost. You don't have to discard any water. They may choose to, though, so that they can get more out with Training Court. They don't. Okay. We will go ahead and promote... They do discard 2 energy. Interesting. We'll go ahead and promote our clean Miltank. I could Avery here. The issue is that I don't really want any of these cards off of their bench. I think I'm just going to boss his orders their Kyurem V. I think we're in a position now where it's very unlikely that we lose this game. I don't believe that they have any other switch outs, and we have 2 bosses orders left in our deck. This sets this Kyurem up to be KO'd with 1 more route. They only have 4 cards in their hand. They can use a Oranguru to dig a card deeper. They can Training Court an energy back and concealed cards to see a couple more cards, but I'm not sure what combination of things they could get that would actually help them enough to win this game. They do Glaciated World. They attach it to the Radiant Greninja. That makes sense. Most of these Kyurem decks do not play a Zigzagoon. So even if they do get the Radiant Greninja off and they did somehow manage to discard our Cape of Toughness, the 90 and 90 damage won't really do anything. They do attach a water to their Kyurem VMAX. I'm not sure what other options they have this turn. And we take the win. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. That was Blissey Miltank. As you can see, it's a deck that really forces your opponent to find everything they need all at once to be able to knock out your walls. Thank you so much for watching.
The Shuffle Squad is proudly sponsored by Atlas Collectibles, the best place to buy any trading card game product online. Visit atlastcg.com and at the checkout screen, make sure to use code TSS12 to save an unbeatable 12% off your entire order. Atlas Collectibles will ship your product anywhere in the world, so make sure you're taking advantage of the 12% savings with TSS12. And if Pokemon is not your thing, don't worry. Go to atlastcg.com and see all the other amazing trading card game products they have there to offer.
The Shuffle Squad is partnered with PTCGO Store to provide our community with the best access to Pokemon TCG codes. They have codes available 24/7, instant email delivery, and you can save 5% off by using code TSS5. If you're a YouTube member or Patreon supporter, you'll have access to a special code that gets you 10% off. So what are you waiting for? Use code TSS5 today and save 5% on your next order of codes on any codes available at PTCGOstore.com.
Pokex Word, the best place to get your fill of Pokemon-inspired puzzles. New puzzles are posted every day, and they recently launched a new Guess That Pokemon puzzle, which is a ton of fun to play. Go check them out at pokeexword.com and be sure to follow them on Twitter for your chance to win a ton of PTCGO codes every month.
Check out the Late Night Series Season 6, brought to you by myself, Zach Lesage, and the Shuffle Squad. We're going to be running a bunch of sick events for the Pokemon community, and they start on August 30th. So one thing you might be noticing here is that there's an EU time and an NA time. We have one at 12 p.m. Eastern, which works out to about 5 p.m. in London, and then we have one at 7 p.m. Eastern, which should help out a lot of players on the West Coast play in this event. That being said, we still have a lot of cool things going on. Expect similar prizing that we've had for other Late Night Series events. Expect better staffing, expect better tournament experiences, and of course we do have a stream going up for this season as well, and I will be streaming the event on Twitch. That being said, we have the whole season up on the Play Limitless website. Late Night 51 all the way through 70 runs until we hit the Invitational on November 5th. So check that out, sign up today, and support Zach Lesage Events and the Shuffle Squad. See you there.